Well, hey guys. So at this point, I imagine that you're about done or you're getting done with your building if you're looking at this video here. Now imagine this building is complete. This is the sort of beginning stages of that earlier building that I made. And I had a little roadside here, and I'm going to put some different accoutrements throughout the thing. We're going to start off with a car here, right? So say for instance we're going to populate our little area with things like cars. And so here's a little design of a car facing one direction. And if we wanted to sort of like have it face the other direction, we could always just transform and have it just reflect like so. And obviously what we would want to do is we would want to change the various, shaded sides versus dark sides and stuff like that, right? So it's pretty simple stuff. Now, if you want to make it going, like, say, for instance, the opposite direction, obviously you need to do a design from the other side. That would be a different design altogether, so it wouldn't be quite so simple because we would obviously need to know what it looked like. Now, I have this little car here with, like, square wheels. Now, we can make circular wheels, and I can show you a way of doing that a little later on, but we'll just kind of stick with this as if we're sort of in this little, isometric world here. So let's put the grid back up, and I'm going to get in kind of close, and I'm just going to show you how I did this. Basically, all I did was start with the bumper and the headlights. So I'll start with the headlights here, just because that's going to be the smallest thing that I've got. So let me just make a new layer, and I'll get my stroke up to black, and I'll have my fill set to nothing for now. And we'll just start in by just making a couple of small squares. I'm going to make this 2 by 2. Now I call these squares. Obviously, they're really rhombuses, but you just want to have them, obviously they're equilateral. So in this case, they're isometric sort of angled squares. And I'm going to make this little grill here, this little area between, or this bumper here. So I'm just going to start here. I don't have a keyboard attached to my tablet at the time, just a mouse. So I can't control click at this point. I'll just space this out a little bit here, just however long you want your thing to be, and we'll just your car to be how wide it is, and we'll just continue to kind of add this other headlight here. As far as the bumper goes, I just pushed it out one, and had it kind of end kind of normal to the headlights. And do the same thing for the base of the bumper, so like the front-facing area. Obviously, if you want to make a bigger bumper, you can. And we'll just, want to have to complete this on this side as well. All right, now this is where you're going to have to make some decisions. Now you can make, obviously you can start this off, but and then you'll eventually want to kind of redo it. But what I'll do is I'm going to just start this. This will be the front of the car. So first off, I'll just make a little bit of space above the headlights, just so we have just some place for the hood of the car to go. And I will actually kind of click off of this. Once again, I don't have a keyboard attached to my tablet at the time, so I'm just going to click on this, and I'm just going to make the sort of body of the car. So I'm going to go forward a little bit for the hood, and I'll just go straight up for now for the roof, and then I'll just go back a bit. I might not go back quite so far. I'll go back a little bit here, and I'll go down some, back even, and then I'll continue further. And the one that I made, I just kind of went. I didn't go too terribly far. Maybe I just go 1 or 2 or 3 here. I'll just go 3, and I'll go down and see if I can't get even with the bumper on this side. Let's look, see if I can't find it. I think up one. One more. There we go. And then we'll kind of go forward here, and we'll make the wheel wells, and the wheel wells just will go up 1 or 2. I want to say it went up 2. So I'll come back and I'll fix this. I'll fix this up a little bit here. We'll just go down like so, and we'll go across, and we'll have the other wheel in front towards the engine here. Yeah, I went down a bit too far. I went across 3. Go down 1 more. All right. So, and we'll complete this up just to have this closed, and I'll move this slightly. Now, if you want to, for example, make this, sort of a hatchback, you can obviously just angle this forward a little bit here, and do the same thing here. You can angle this forward a little bit, or angle this back a little bit here. And maybe put this forward some. would be good. And then just to sort of fill in the rest of the car information just based on the profile you gave it. So if you want this to be more of a blocky car like a Jeep, or more of a smaller car like a sedan, it's obviously up to you, right? So what you can just kind of do is, I'll make this a little lower roof here just to make this more of a sedan kind of car. But this right here is going to basically dictate the way your car looks like. I might want to bring this forward just slightly. All these wheels. Once again, I don't have the ability to shift select, but I will pull this forward some here. All right, that's good. All right, and so what we'll do is we'll kind of fill in the rest of the information here. So I'll get my pen back, and I'll just click on here and see if I can't even this up with the width of the car. Looks like about right. And this will be my hood of the car. Close that up. And it's up to you. Like, no, in the originally one, what I did was I had no gap between the windshield and the edge of the car. Obviously, if you want that, you're welcome to do that. Let's see if we can find a way of evening this out here. I guess I'll just go as forward as I can, and then I'll just have that go straight down. That looks about right. I want to say we have to close it up here. Here we go. And once again, the roof of the car here matches up pretty well with the grid. So we'll just kind of try to get all of our anchor points on the intersections of the grids. Some of our lines won't follow the grids, some of our lines will follow grids, and we're just going to go out this way. And in this case, we'll have to make a decision as to far as where this ends here, about right about here, I want to say. Yeah. Does it go up 3? Maybe it goes up. Let's look here. Let's follow this line up all the way up here. I'm just using this as a guide. Right about there. And that'll be the trunk of our car. Make sure that gets closed. And we'll add a bumper here. Like so. And we'll add the top of the bumper, as it were. Okay, and then we'll just make the tires. I'll make them 3x3. A few squares here. Make sure you give it a little bit of a front-facing surface, as it were. And same deal here. Obviously, if you wanted to alt drag that earlier one, you could, but I do not have an alt key, so I'll close that up. All right, and one more here. We can just like so. And the last we'll add is the windows. Try to even those up a little bit. Looks like maybe a 2-door sedan. Got a close quarters, that's fine. This probably needs to be pulled back a little bit just to make it even. A little bit there. Alright, that looks good. Okay. Alright, and so we'll just leave that there. Okay. And so now what we'll do is we'll add in the colors. So once again, you want to like think about where your building's shadow side. So I had my light side on this side and my dark side on that side. So whatever side you have your light and your shadow on, you want to keep that consistent with every little object that goes into your design. So I have my light side here, my dark side here, and I used blue for the earlier one. You can use whatever color you want. Obviously, I didn't in this particular case want to repeat the color that I used before, but I also don't want to make anything that's like super noticeable. But if you wanted to, for instance, add something like I for example drive a kind of a lime green car, so I might just do that with this. I'll just make this sort of lime green. Maybe yeah, that's probably good. And I'll have that be like the primary color, and this will be a little bit lighter. Let me get my eyedropper tool here. I'm clicking back and forth a little bit. I'll just go over here to my fill and hit on my colors, and make sure you have from the color mixer. Make sure you click on this little menu here. You have your HSB. That's probably the easiest one to use. And I'll just pull down the saturation slightly and pull up the brightness a little bit, just to make it noticeable, a noticeable difference there. And for this side, I will have this side be, once again, I'll get the primary color. I won't start off with the lighter color. I will have this be a good deal darker, and maybe also reduce I'll pull up the saturation slightly. So there we go. And, oops. And so then we can just start popping in colors for the rest of it. So for instance, this right here, and same with the top. The top and the bumper will be the same color. If you wanted to differentiate this a little bit, you could, by virtue of just putting a shadow on something. But this would probably fine. I think the illusion will hold. And I'll make the windshield and the doors a light blue. So I'll just randomly pick a light blue here. Nothing too terribly. The same thing here. Get my eyedropper tool. Get my move tool again, or select tool rather. Eyedropper, like so. Oops, shows the wrong thing. Make sure we get the right thing selected. And we'll do the same with the bumpers and the tires. I'll make the bumper sort of a gray color. So I'll fill that in with I'll just use the swatches here, gray. And then back this up a little bit. And then we'll do a little darker gray. Maybe not quite so dark. And we'll do a lighter gray. Okay, that looks different enough. And we'll do the same thing over here. We'll use this as our dark gray. Right? Is it right? Let's look here. Let me make sure I have that right. Not quite. That's okay. Alright, so now we use the eyedropper tool whenever you can to make sure things are consistent. And I'll just continue to fill this in. Obviously, once you're here, you can just do whatever it is you want to do. But essentially, what we'll do once we get everything filled in is we'll shrink it down and we'll place it into the design. So let's just pull this down here. I'll make this almost as dark as you can get without being black. I'll make this just a couple hits darker, lighter rather. Yeah, that's good. And I'll make this very pale gray. And I'll see if I can't copy and paste that. Put it right here. Now, obviously, I'll want to go in and make sure that's corrected, but that's okay for now. And as far as the, well, let's see, let me just get this. Tires. Let's go down here. And paste. And then, here we go. As far as the headlights go, I made them sort of a pale yellow just to make it look as if they were sources of light. So I grabbed yellow, and you don't want to stick with this yellow. This yellow is way too garish, but I'll just take the saturation down a little bit, maybe the brightness down slightly. Not a whole lot. And we'll eyedropper that. I kept the strokes just there, and I'll just get them all off at the same time here. Let's see if we can. There we go. Oh, not quite. Let's see if we can't grab it. There we go. And I'll make this the same color as my hubcaps, this little grill here, maybe even brighter. That's probably good for now. Okay, so let's just select everything, and we'll just take the stroke off on one go. I'll remove my grid for now, and I'll bring my building back up. And I'll just object group this together, and I'll just shrink this on down. And I can't hold my shift button now, so I'm just going to eyeball this, make sure that's sort of staying even. Okay, and you just want to place this wherever you want. Now, as far as the road goes, the way I made this road was essentially just do the same kind of just a random shape here. And now these lines here aren't quite right, so let me just go ahead and get rid of those. Let me just edit, cut, and I'll just edit, cut this as well. And what I can do is I can just make a little rectangle here, a little white rectangle like so. Let me properties. I'll take my stroke off. I'll put my fill onto white, and I'm going to go to Object, Transform, and Shear. I'm going to shear it vertically, and I'm going to shear it 30 degrees. And what we'll do with that is place that here. And just, what I'll do is I'll just copy this, edit, copy, edit, paste. We can place this here, and so this will, I wonder if that was quite, yeah, that's about right. This fits in with the rest of the angles here. And we'll just select these two objects. Let me just move this out of the way. I'll just select these two. That's a great question. I wonder if I can select these at the same time without, here we go. What I can do is this. Shift. Wait, not quite. Okay, here we go. Click on this. Will this work? Shift. Click on that. Nope, didn't work. Well, essentially you just want to do the blend tool here. So let me see if I can't pull this down. And I'll select these two like so. And I'll just do the object blend make, and then I'll do object blend options, and I'll just do specified steps. And I'll make, say, for instance, 10 of these. And I think I can probably move them and they'll still maintain their you can use the direct select tool and just grab this path and pull it over here. Right, and you would want to obviously line them up. Oops. I'll reduce that down to, say, object blend options, like 5. There we go. And we have our little line here, and I can just duplicate this object, transform, reflect, copy, place that here to make my little lines going down my street, as it were. I wonder, is that quite right? Looks like it's more like on its side, less so. I think what I need to do is actually create a bit of a flat edge going up and down. And I'll tell you what, we'll have that in a different video. But in the meantime, though, let me get out of this. Here we go. So in the meantime, though, there's your car. You can have this be, multiple cars hanging out. You want to make sure they're all kind of similar size here, since they have the same size tires. So we'll make sure they're the same size car. But alright, so see if you can't add some things like cars or trees and stuff, and I'll have a couple more things to look at. In the meantime, this is a fun little addition that you can put. Adds a little bit of life to your design, and well, see, we can build a little world around it. Alright, very good.